Bearcats All Access, sponsored by Ultrafiber.
W's in the chat. The Cincinnati Bearcats coming off of a dominant 70-0 win over Northwestern State heading into the bye week. This is Bearcats All Access. I'm your host, Marshall Kramsky. We got a great show for you. We relive that victory over Northwestern State in Cincinnati. They have the week off getting ready for Big 12 play against Kansas. Quarterback Brendan Sorsby, who was perfect in his last game action. 15 for 15 passing. He set a Cincinnati record 5 touchdowns in the first half. Sorsby did it all in the first quarter before he came out of the game before halftime. All that plus some great features from the University of Cincinnati highlighting the volleyball team. We got a great episode of Bearcats All Access. It starts right now with Coach's Corner, sponsored by Ultrafiber. When you win 70-0, do you walk around campus with a little bit of an extra pep in your step afterwards?
No, I don't think so. I think, again, I talked about this before the game, is like, we have to play to a standard. We practiced to a standard last week. I was just proud of our guys to go out and play to our standard, and I thought the starters did that, but I also thought the guys that got into the game, in the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter, those guys really finished it out and played a clean, good football team. So that's what I was most proud about. But, after the game, you're moving on. You get ready for the next opponent, which is Kansas for us.
What are you noticing about Brendan Sorsby? He comes the 15 for 15 game, sets the school record for the most passing touchdowns in a half. He does it in a quarter. What have you noticed about him through the first 3 weeks that he's the reason he's trending in the right direction?
I think go back into August, and I thought he had a really good August, much better than maybe he's ever been here in the last year. Very high completion percentage. We'll get into the Nebraska game, which I do think Nebraska's strength is their secondary. They had some really quality guys in the back end that they brought back starters. I still think at times he didn't take what they gave him. I think he should have hit some of the guys underneath that were there instead of trying to put the ball down the field. Since then, I think he's done a much better job of taking what the defense has given him. Starting with Bowling Green, I think he was 70% completion percentage there. And, of course, you can't get any better than 15 for 15.
Your first 3 weeks this season, I thought was really interesting. Your opponents, it seemed like you guys played better, but the level of opponent declined each week. You make it to the bye week. Do you see that your team is improving? And if so, how do you measure that?
You're right, because Bowling Green's a solid football team. It is a level down. And, of course, Northwestern State is another level down. And you still play to our standard, and then that's what we're looking at. That's what we're grading off of. And now it's starting to get real. You get into Big 12. Week in and week out, we're going to be playing very, very good opponents, very, very good coaches, players. Got to go on the road and play some of these. This obviously is when the season really starts for us, because this is what really matters, is how you play in the Big 12. We have a goal that we want to, get to Dallas and play for the Big 12 championship, and you take it one game at a time. And our next opponent, Kansas, we know they're a really good football team, and so everything that we're doing is trying to get better and get ready to play the Kansas.
Because we're in the bye week, what do you like to do for fun outside of football?
Yeah, I mean, I like to play golf, but I don't play golf in the fall. So that's a summertime thing. So really, it's really just watching football, which is crazy. My wife says, how do you come home and watch football when you watch it all day long? Well, but when you're home watching it, it's really just for enjoyment. Mm-hmm. I'm just I'm watching these coaches, make some mistakes, and these other teams make some mistakes, and or play good. You watch some NFL games, and I like learning. You can learn a lot from watching these guys. You pick up some plays. Even we come in here, hey, did you see this play? And you draw a play up, and maybe we put that play in. So for me, it's just relaxing, watching some football, spending time with family.
Coach, thanks so much. Enjoy the bye.
All right, thank you.
This week on Bearcats All Access, let's relive the annual Bearcat Invitational that took place at Coldstream Country Club. The UC golf team teed it up against some of the top golfers in the nation. Let's relive what the Bearcats did and how they continued growth individually and as a program at the Bearcat Invitational.
This is our first Bearcat Invitational title in a few years. How did it feel just right from the get-go? It seemed like the team was just on one.
The biggest thing was after we finished really well the last 36 at Folds of Honor. That's kind of the team that I expected that we had. What we did in the first round wasn't really what I had expected, but you know what? That happens in golf. It's a weird game. But I thought the key to the week was after we got back from Folds, I really didn't work these guys very hard, and we really were fresh. I thought we came out Monday morning having to play our first 36-hole day of the season, and I thought our guys guys were extremely fresh. They had that look in their eyes, so we went out and shoot 6 under both rounds, just set ourselves up for what was happening today.
What was the mindset after Monday night? You guys had a pretty nice lead.
Yeah.
Was there any kind of doubt? Was there just a matter of we have to just keep the same mindset?
Just keep the same mindset. Our coach said score 0-0 tomorrow morning. Woke up today and decided, step on the team's throats, and that's what we did. So it's pretty exciting.
You've got a huge lead on Monday night. How did you guys maybe not get too complacent?
Coach Martin isn't going to allow complacency, so that's number one. And I told him last night, I said, listen, when we wake up tomorrow morning, we don't have a lead. Golf is a very unique game. You very rarely get an opportunity to step on a competitor's throat. Today was our opportunity. We did that to start the day. I think we were 7, 8, 9 under par through 13 holes. We put ourselves in a position to where we had some room to play smart or be aggressive coming down the stretch. So it really was a mentality that we woke up with.
Got your big tournament win here.
Yeah.
Talk about your performance and what you saw out there today from the whole squad.
I didn't think I hit the ball to my best or anything like that. I just played very disciplined golf. I got some putts to go and did some good things, especially yesterday in the afternoon. The team looked really solid this week. Pretty exciting seeing, our 5th spot playing well, everyone else playing well up to the lineup. I think that's pretty exciting for the future. To be honest with you, I probably hit the ball better last year, but I worked on my short game quite a bit. The short game has gotten to a point where it's acceptable. Last year just wasn't acceptable, and I never hit the ball that bad. I'm not hitting the ball to my standard inside my head, I guess. The short game's getting there, which I think is nice to see progress, and I think that's what's showing in the results.
It's really exciting. You always want to come to your home course and get it done. In the past 2 years, we've come up a little short. I played good my sophomore year. I didn't play too great last year, and we just didn't get it done as a team. So it's really great to see our team come together. Everyone shoot under par, which is amazing, and get a great win for the team.
He's gonna hold him.
After being in Michigan, an amazing tournament, winning this awesome one here, what's next for you guys?
Well, we go to Jimmy DeLopp up at Point of the Woods where the Western Amateur used to be held. It's a great golf course, going to be another tremendous challenge for our team. But you know what? I think we're up to the challenge. I think we have 3 tremendous seniors that are just have helped me set the tempo this fall. We're going to continue to push. We're going to celebrate this one today and tomorrow on our off day, but we're going to get right back to work on Thursday.
Sydney Nolan is one of the most important players on the Cincinnati Bearcats volleyball team, and she's getting recognition to prove it. We talk volleyball coming up on Bearcats All Access.
This segment is sponsored by Furniture Fair.
Bearcats volleyball junior outside hitter Sydney Nolan has been named Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week. She also took home Most Outstanding Player in the Chattanooga Classic. Head coach Daniela Tomic shares just what goes into Sydney's hard work on and off the court.
What makes Sydney such a special player, and how has she grown since you joined the program?
She has all the attributes that you're looking for a player when it comes to physicality. She's 6'4". I've had a privilege of coaching some really special players in my career, and Sydney is one of those. And all of those players had something in common. They were physically talented. They were good volleyball players when it comes to skills. But what separated them is being also a great teammates and having that humility about them.
I think a lot of the things have to do with our new coaches and the style of play that they want us to go by, and they want us to take the big swings and give us the confidence to do that in games. So I think they have a lot to do with that, and then just the team as well. None of this would be possible without my amazing teammates. So yeah,
she doesn't think that she knows everything. She doesn't think that she is a complete player. She wants to get better, that hunger to be better, and just soaking up coaching is just refreshing.
Like, I think trying to compete at the highest level is like why we're all here. So I think like that's part of it. Is I'm a competitor. Like, I love to get out there and do the best I can and just do what I can for the team. Like, a lot of the time, in all honesty, I'm not thinking about like my stat line and things like that. I'm thinking about how I can contribute what I need to help the team and to help us come out with like wins. So
she works hard, and again, I'm gonna emphasize she's a great teammate. Her teammates love her. They want to play with her. They want to play for her, and she makes other around her better. That's another characteristic of great players. They make everybody around them better, and that's what Sydney does.
Like, our team has focused a lot on unity, and we try to build relationships off the court to serve us on the court, and I think that is what we give a lot of the reason to like how tight-knit we are on the court too, is just because we really do have those relationships off the court and behind the scenes that not everyone sees.
Yeah, we ask our players to be the best for the team. There's a difference being the best on the team and being best for the team, and Sydney does that. She loves to be a part of the team, and she celebrates probably more when her teammates are successful than when she does something great on the court.
Bearcats quarterback Brendan Sorsby was one of the best in the nation this past week. Heading into the bye on Bearcat Spotlight presented by Furniture Fair, we sit down with QB1 of UC.
Bearcats All Access, sponsored by Ultifiber.
Cincinnati Bearcats quarterback Brendan Sorsby was perfect in his game against Northwestern State. Sorsby went 15 for 15 passing. He had 5 touchdowns in the first quarter, setting a Bearcats record for the first half of the game. He was only 1 touchdown away, passing touchdown, from the Bearcat all-time record. We sit down with Sorsby this week on Bearcat Spotlight, sponsored by Furniture Fair. So you broke the Bearcat record for most touchdowns in a half. He did it in a quarter with 5 passing touchdowns. You were 1 away from the school record for a game. How badly do you want that last one?
Yeah, I mean, the same thing happened to me in high school. You know, they took me out of the game early, and I was tied for the record. Hopefully I can get it back later this year. Something, we'll figure it out. Really excited to be able to produce like that, and, you know, it's always fun to score a lot of points and a lot of touchdowns for sure.
Your completion percentage was perfect, 15 for 15. That's hard to do against air, let alone a Division I college defense. How did you do that?
Well, I was literally thinking about it on the way in the facility, you know, even when you're doing it routes on air or 7-on-7, it's still tough to catch the ball contested, much less, you know, throw the ball, especially 15 times in a row. So props to my wideouts for catching it and making some tough catches too. I think it's just a testament to show like the work that we're putting in throughout the week and stuff and the chemistry that we've built.
So obviously you had the perfect completion percentage in the last game. You're talked a lot about for your athleticism, your ability to run. What part of the game do you take the most pride in?
Definitely, obviously, throwing it, being a quarterback, I definitely like to throw the football. People always say, like, you know, you like to run and stuff. Well, there's a reason I didn't play running back. I always, you know, like to throw the football first and then have the ability to run second if I needed to. I pride myself on definitely being a sneaky athlete, have some sneaky athletic ability. My mom's going to take credit for it. My dad's also going to take credit for it. You know, hard work and dedication. I always tell them, I said I didn't get it from either one of y'all clearly. So I just try to just go out there and play ball and have fun.
What's life like on campus for you? Are you stopped all the time? Are people like, oh, that's Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback of the Bearcats? What's it like your day to day?
Last year it wasn't like that as much, but, you know, obviously being in, you know, the program for a little over a year now, people are starting to recognize me a little bit more. And, you know, if anybody ever wants a picture, I'm more than willing to take one. I've been stopped here and there, and then, you know, people are always, like you just said, saying, like, hey, that's Brendan Sorsby, and they'll wave at me. And all that stuff. I'm just a normal guy, so if anybody ever wants to talk or whatever, I'm always for it. It's definitely been a little bit different than whenever I was at Indiana, and then, even last year. It's just, hopefully I can continue to, build my brand and continue to make these fans happy with my performance, and, we'll go from there.
It's so easy to get caught up in the moment, especially being a quarterback at a school where every game's a big game. But being a guy who was under-recruited from high school and the journey you've taken to be QB1 at a Big 12 school, do you ever take time to enjoy the moment and realize how far you've come?
Oh, 100%. I knew I had the ability to play at this level, but I didn't think I would get the opportunity. So, whenever Indiana came along and, gave me the chance to go play there on a scholarship, that was just a blessing in and of itself. And then come here and be the guy. I'm just trying to make the most of every opportunity that I get, and just, don't let a day go by where you're just taking it for granted. We're getting to play a game, that we grew up loving. So, it's just go out there and try to have as much fun as possible with it.
This week on the Let's Reign podcast, Dan Horde sits down with two Cincinnati basketball newcomers, Sean Abayev and Keyshawn Tillery. Get to know the newest Bearcats with Dan Horde on Let's Reign, and make sure to check out the full conversation on YouTube or Spotify.
Well, first day I got kicked out. My agent called and said, "Hey, Cubs just selected." Just like, "Yeah, I just saw it." So we used to have to look on the internet.
Yeah, we never seen a paper nail. I didn't know if it was nails in it or not.
Got me chills with that. Wow, what?
Did you even think you were going to make the team?
No.
Jersey doesn't always fit me. There's no name on my jersey.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to the Let's Reign podcast presented by the refreshingly crisp Cincy Light, Cincinnati's light beer. I'm your host, Dan Horde. We are talking basketball on this episode of the show. The season's going to get started not too far from now. The schedule just recently came out for the non-conference games, and there's some great ones to look forward to for the Bearcats and their fans. We are going to meet two highly touted recruits on this episode of the show, Sean Abayev, the McDonald's All-American, and Keyshawn Tillery, one of the top point guard recruits in the country. Before we get to them, we remind you to like and subscribe to the Let's Reign podcast for in-depth conversations with Bearcats players, coaches, and administrators. Let's get to know two Bearcat freshmen that you've heard a lot about because they are highly touted recruits, Sean Abayev and Keyshawn Tillery. You guys could have gone just about anywhere. So tell us why you chose to come to Cincinnati. Sean, you start first.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for having me here today. But I trusted in Coach West. I felt like he was the best fit for me, and then I felt like the coaching staff and everything was just so organized, and everything was, serious, and then everybody wanted to be great here, and I felt like it was a great place for me to come and, help this team achieve the goals that they have and achieve my goals as well.
Keyshawn?
I said the culture, like when I came on my visit, the way I was welcomed and the family-orientated vibe that I got off, and I watched a live practice, so just being able to see how he coaches live, the whole staff being one and pushing everybody to be better, I just wanted to be a part of that.
The Cincinnati football team won 70-0 against Northwestern State. Let's relive all the action of UC's dominating victory before their bye week and Big 12 play. The Clifton Cup is coming up on Bearcats All Access. It's time for the Clifton Cut, the cinematic look back at the Cincinnati Bearcats' 70-0 domination of a win over Northwestern State. Quarterback Brendan Sorsby was flawless, literally 15 for 15 passing, setting a school record 5 touchdowns in the first half, and he did so all in the first quarter. Tight end Joe Royer hauled in 2 touchdowns, and the defense, perfect. Pitching a shutout against the Demons, only allowing 102 total offensive yards for Northwestern State. Let's relive it all with the Clifton Cut.
Week 3 of the college football season, mid-September afternoon along the banks of the Ohio. Cincinnati is back inside their beloved Nippert Stadium for one final tune-up before the rigors of Big 12 play. The Demons and the Bearcats on a blackout Saturday.
Go, man. It's time to go. Spot the ball. Let's play.
Sorsby fires for the end zone. Caught by a wide open Joe Royer. Nobody within 10 yards. Flings it deep down the field. Caught at the 18. Goody headed for the pylon. Touchdown! Swing pass to the right, into the flat, caught by Tawi Walker. Buford with a great block in front, and he escorts Tawi Walker into the end zone. Sacked by Rob Jackson. Deep drop, launches it high and deep, down the middle of the field. It is caught at the 2-yard line by Goody. The ball is out, and the Bearcats have recovered. Here's a little pop pass forward, running inside the 5, toward the goal line, and into the end zone is Johnson. Around, begins scrambling, middle of the field. He's at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Brendan Sorsby. Walker, gaping hole left side, down to the 5, using a stiff arm, fighting for the end zone, and he never goes down. Floats it toward the end zone. Allen makes the catch. Touchdown, Bearcats. Williams cruises into the end zone. Samaj throws quickly out to the left. It is caught. Isaiah Johnson sprinting for the first down and more. He's at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Bearcats. Defend the new. As they flat out destroy the Demons of Northwestern State.
Big dog.
By the final score of 70.
We don't even got to talk for real. We don't even got to talk for real. Just look at the score. We don't even got to talk.
That's about all the time we have this week on Bearcats All Access. The Cincinnati football team, they got a bye this week, so hang out, enjoy some college football, but don't worry, the UC Bearcats back in action next week. They start Big 12 play against Kansas. I'm Marshall Kramsky. This is Bearcats All Access. Make sure to tune in every Saturday morning at 11:30 a.m. on WCPO 9.